Am I the asshole for not wanting my mother-in-law to take care of my baby after she tried to breastfeed him? My husband and I both work full-time and we have a 2-month-old. My mother-in-law comes to our house every weekday and watches him for free while we work. We're on week 3 of this arrangement since I went back to work after maternity leave. It's very kind of her to do this for our family and I appreciate it immensely. My baby is breastfed. I pump milk for her to give him during the day and he gets milk right from the source on evenings and weekends. He loves nursing and I do too. It's been a wonderful way for us to bond and a beautiful experience overall. Yesterday while I was at work, I opened the baby monitor app on my phone to check and see if my Mill was able to get him to take a nap in his crib. She had been texting me saying he was crying really hard, so she was thinking about just holding him for a nap, so I wanted to check and see if he was okay and if she ended up just holding him. When I looked at the camera, Mill was holding him and she had her shirt up and he was latched onto her breast. I was shocked and horrified. I called her right away and she didn't answer, so I had to sit there and watch her attempt to breastfeed my baby. He was latched on, but obviously not getting any milk as my mother-in-law is not lactating. I called my husband at work, who eventually got a hold of her. Apparently the baby was crying so hard, and that was the only thing she could think of to calm him down enough to sleep. She breastfed all 4 of her children when they were babies, and it always calmed them down enough to sleep. She was mad that I had checked the camera and told him it was an invasion of privacy. I don't want her watching my baby anymore. We can afford a nanny or daycare. When I told my Mill this, she freaked out and said I was being a bitch and she was just trying to calm the baby down and it wasn't a big deal. She says I'm taking her grandchild away from her and being unfair. My husband understands why I'm upset, but wants to give her another chance to watch the baby. He also doesn't want to spend the money to get a nanny or do daycare when she can care for our baby for free. Am I being unreasonable here? I'm so upset with her and just completely baffled at why she would do this that I never even want to see her again, let alone have her anywhere near my baby. I think I could possibly be the asshole for checking up on her through the camera and also for not wanting her to watch my baby anymore, even though that would mean spending extra money and taking away something she really seems to enjoy doing. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole, I'm so shocked. Has she never heard of a pacifier? My mind would never go to breastfeeding another person's baby. I'd have a hard time facing her altogether. Not the asshole. That's creepy. Not the asshole. That is so beyond words inappropriate to me. WTF was she thinking? Her judgment is highly suspect. The fact that she defended herself by saying you invaded her privacy and hello, she's watching your kid and shouldn't be doing anything that requires living room privacy at that point, and that she doesn't even consider what she did is wrong clearly means she's not capable of safely taking care of your child. Not the asshole, and this story gave me majorly creepy vibes. My skin is crawling. This is a perversion of what should be a bonding experience between a mother and her baby, and literally no one else. Do not let this woman around your child. I had to read this twice and, yeah, I'm kinda shocked. Info: did your Mill somehow forgot that you have pumped breast milk in the house? She could have just given the lil baby the bottle and cradled him? Not the asshole. That is disgusting behavior. You have a daycare problem though for which I cannot think of a solution. Not the asshole, and may I point you in the direction of this classic, incredibly relevant Dear Prudence letter. Not the asshole. There is lots of ways to get a child to calm down, that don't involve breastfeeding when it's not your child and you aren't lactating. She could have given him a soother or a bottle, or tried skin-to-skin contact. I actually think a sugar, whiskey soother would be less disturbing than that. That's legitimately horror movie, hand that rocks the cradle weird shit. Okay, that's enough Reddit for me today. This is the most disturbing just novel I've ever read, and it's not even on that sub. Very much not the asshole, op. I have to be honest. I'm a little freaked out. This is beyond weird and crosses into Mill needs therapy. Not the asshole and trust your mama instincts. Get daycare. NTA, absolutely not. Never let that woman around your child again. Not the asshole. I think I could possibly be the asshole for checking up on her through the camera. You put the camera for something, taking care of your baby, and that's exactly what you used it for. Am I being unreasonable here? Absolutely not. It's completely reasonable to be mad about what happened. I would give your Mill another opportunity as her intention wasn't really a bad one, she just doesn't thought too much about it. In case she redoes it, then I would sadly have to get a nanny. Not the asshole. My family knows I check the cameras constantly when they watch my son. Just because I want to, and I want to see him when I'm not with him. It's not a big deal because they aren't doing anything wrong. There is something seriously wrong with your mill. Do not under any circumstances leave your child alone with her again, at least until he can talk and tell you if she does something this fucked up again. I would go full no contact over this and tell my husband to shove it. He is minimizing a super fucked up thing she did, and honestly I would be questioning why. Your child's safety is the most important thing. In the US, CPS tends to look at this as a form of sexual abuse of infants. I had a friend in the same situation with her mill, only her mill did it for months before they found out. Mill had been making false CPS reports about the baby being abused, so they investigated. They found that the baby was being abused, but not by the parents. They found that the mill was sexually abusing the infant by fake breastfeeding it daily. My parents babysat my kids all the time. At no point did they ever address a crying baby by trying to breastfeed it. That is just nuts and abusive, emo. And I doubt it was the first time. Not the asshole you would be if you let her watch him. Stand your ground, please. Not the asshole. Not only is what she did disgusting, it's actually considered abuse and you could file charges against her for what she did. More worrying is that she thinks that it was okay. She's mentally unstable and should not be left alone with your child. Also, you have every right to check the cameras in your own home to check on your own child. She's just pissed because she got caught abusing your child. I highly suggest to go back through the footage to check how often this happened and what else she's been up to. Not the asshole. This is wild. I honestly was hoping this was made up, but that Dear Prudence link is giving me pause. I have taken care of many, many babies in my lifetime, and never would it have struck me to stick my boob in one's mouth to soothe him, her. Not the asshole, with a side of WTF. NTA. I think that's disgusting. However, I have seen people act really strangely and do very desperate things when they have a baby that won't stop crying. Do the cameras record? I'm just wondering if maybe she couldn't cope with situation and didn't know what to do to calm him down. I'm not on her side here, I'm just thinking maybe she wasn't trying to be weird and panicked. How is your relationship with her usually? Is she overbearing and interfering, or is this completely out of character? I can't understand why he stopped crying if he wasn't getting milk. Do you use a pacifier? I don't think you're the awe. In other countries it's common for women to dry nurse infants to get them to calm down. My partner was breastfed as a baby, and when his mom went to work his aunt stayed with him and he would cry his head off. She didn't know what to do and offered him her nipple, and after that he stopped crying and went to sleep. I do get where you're coming from. Not the asshole. What she did was beyond strange and inappropriate. She could have just given the baby a bottle or a pacifier. Not the asshole. That is just wrong. I don't care what reason she had. If she ran out of ideas she could have called to ask. Invasion of privacy? Are you kidding me? Your kid, your camera. Don't let her unsupervised with your kid until she can show she can follow your boundaries. What the actual foo? That is creepy and weird on so many levels I can't even begin to count them. Forget not wanting Mill to watch the baby after that. I wouldn't want her anywhere near the baby until she's talked to a professional about why she thought it would be okay to stick her tit in the mouth of a child that is not hers. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Tell your husband what his mother did was disgusting and weird, and she should not be given unsupervised access to your baby if she going to force said baby to suck on her nipples. What's wrong with giving him a bottle? The fact that she used "you invaded my privacy" as an excuse is even more sickening. I boyfriend my 4 kids and I would not dream of stuffing my non-lactating breast into the mouth of my crying grandchild. It sounds like your husband is more interested in saving money and keeping his mother happy than protecting your baby. Take the decision to pay for daycare yourself, don't give significant other the option to override you. Your decision to protect your baby supersedes saving money and Mill's tantrums. Not the asshole. Considering she is not lactating, this is sexual abuse of a literal infant. The fact you would consider allowing that woman to even see your child after a stunt like that is extremely charitable, and perhaps negligent. Not the asshole. This is truly disgusting. I can imagine you don't want to see her anymore. If I were in your shoes I doubt I'd let her see the baby alone at the beginning. You need your husband with you on this, talk to him, explain why it's wrong, coupled with the boundary issues my baby. She doesn't give your baby to you when asked? It wouldn't sit well with me, and try to find a way forward that makes you comfortable. I saw your doubts that she may have been desperate, overwhelmed. Well, if that's the case, then she is not equipped to care for a baby so small on her own. What about a nanny she could split hours with? Maybe nanny in the morning, grandma during nap time and until you get back home? Not the asshole. This is super creepy and I am pretty sure this is what another mill on JustNormal or maybe the advice section on Slate wrote about. She's not breastfeeding. I would call this sexual assault. She shoved a boob into someone's face. Doesn't matter if the person is a baby. Not the asshole. That is creepy and disgusting, seriously, no sane person would do this. The fact that she did it and is defending it is terrifying. She has no right to be angry as she isn't entitled to privacy in your house while watching your baby. What else is she going to do if you don't step in? Will you guys forgive yourselves if something bad happens to your baby because you ignored this massive red flag? Mill is not well. Not the asshole. I have breastfed my nephew before but only with his parents' permission. You don't do that without the person's express permission or if it's an emergency. A crying baby isn't an emergency. There are so many other ways to get them to stop crying. ETA. Also she doesn't have any milk so there is no reason for her nipple to be in a child's mouth at all. Not the asshole. You don't trust her, therefore she doesn't watch your child. Nothing else needs to be said. I wouldn't let this woman watch my purse after pulling something like this. The worst part is being back at work for weeks with a 2-month-old at home. If that kid was a puppy it's barely old enough to be away from its mother, let alone a human infant. The lack of mat leave is the worst. Ew, this reminds me of that film The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. What the hell? Info, what the fuck? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. This is weird and gross. Not the asshole. She put her tit in your child's mouth. This is so far beyond acceptable. Not only would I immediately get someone else to watch my child, I would never let her be alone with my child again. I think it would also take a long time before I could even be around her because the image of her tit in my child's mouth would pop up every time I looked at her. Not the asshole. This is a huge red flag. That's completely disgusting and crosses so many boundaries. I would rather put the boundary down and not risk her trying to mother this baby in other ways when you aren't there. Not the asshole. Do not leave your child with her unattended. This is beyond creepy and I would be livid if anyone, including my own mother, did this. You be in charge of the daycare if your husband doesn't want to listen. You just protect your baby. It's not hers. Oh, and post this to r. JustNormal. www. I wouldn't even give my son another woman's breast milk, let alone have him suck on another woman's breast. OMGG, I'm horrified and disgusted for you. Jesus Christ. That lady has some real issues. Invasion of her privacy? No. She crossed the line. You have cameras for a reason. You have every right to look at cameras in your own home anytime. She shouldn't be doing anything inappropriate in your house that she needs privacy for. Not the asshole. That's a super weird and creepy thing for her to do. ETA, is she from another culture where this may be seen as normal? I see people keep commenting that they feel it may be a miscommunication. I'd like to know now. But if she's not, it's a creepy ass thing to do. And if it was a miscommunication, I feel like she would have apologized instead of acting this way. Not the asshole, your child, your choice. Not the asshole at all. If one of my family members did that, I would be reporting them for sexual abuse. That is disgusting. What the actual F? That is wrong on so many levels. Not the asshole. 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 There are many steps before nipple, ew. She could have even bottle fed with the baby on her bare skin, maybe wrapped in one of your blankets? Like a father can bottle nurse. Not all the time, but an option. The tit should not have come out. No. That's the line. This is very, very strange behavior. It would only be acceptable behavior from a friend or sister who had a baby herself and was lactating, and had asked you. Not the asshole. Absolutely creepy and out of bounds. She can have a relationship with your child without being the childcare. Not the asshole, this is creepy and a total violation. Not the asshole 100%. I gasped and covered my mouth the entire time reading this. I was so shocked. This time you happened to check the cameras. Imagine how many times she may have done this and you didn't check. Or would continue doing in the future without your knowledge. Or anything worse in the future. Totally a violation of your child and your trust. I would be looking for a daycare today. The fact that she was upset you caught her and not at her own actions is troubling. It's your home, you can monitor every square inch 24/7 and she shouldn't have a complaint. Your husband has pushed back, but what if that was your mother that did this, would he still be against? Not the asshole, she crossed a boundary you weren't comfortable with, but she might have thought it was okay or panicked at the moment. If this is first major issue you've had with her, I would sit down with her and hubby and establish some ground rules for watching your baby. You are entitled to check in on your baby through a nanny cam and let her know you will be doing this. If she doesn't agree to your rules regarding your baby, then she doesn't get to watch him. If she is willing to cooperate, I'd continue the arrangement.